Like Red State, I would say is sorry, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin Smith. Red State, I would say is a bad movie. Like the rest of these,
Justin,
I'm willing to say.
You don't know him personally. You can't call him
Mr.
Kevin.
Smith.
He's Mr. Smith to you.
Mr. Smith, I'm sorry.
You think I'm gonna go and be like, hey Ron, how's it going? No, it's Mr. Howard.
That is
I don't know him.
That is fair. Mr. Smith. Yeah, Red State.
He's older than me. You gotta show due respect.
It's probably his worst movie, I think. People would probably say Tusk, but it's just like
no, if I
like
ever
Tusk.
saw Mr. Smith, I'd be like, here you go, Mr. Smith.
Does he still do that?
I don't know.
That'd be rad. Anyway, is that it, Jordan?
That's it.
So okay. So
that's the paper.
The next 3 movies in no order are technically Kevin Smith's first 3 movies, but for whatever reason I've opted to do this out of order. So, movie number 3. Actually, I think this is in reverse order. Actually, that's funny. That was unintentional. His 3rd movie he ever made was a movie called Chasing Amy.
Spot a long face, Horace.
I'm just having a little girl trouble.
Pressing charges. I get that a lot.
Holden McNeil was set in his ways. The way he worked. The way he lived. And the way he thought love should be. But then, she showed up.
Let me guess. You like her.
This girl loves me.
There's something you should know.
She got a boyfriend.
Well, no.
Then what's to know, my friend?
And this girl's got a secret that's going to drive him crazy.
I like you, Holden. I'd really.
And it is
Does he catch her?
he does not. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Based upon Jane and Silent Bob reboot, yes, but no. Anyway, it's just the Kevin Smith's first movie. It is one of Ben Affleck's first movies. I think it's not Jason Lee's first movie, but this is when he started to work with like a lot of the same people. Joey Adams is in this as his girlfriend. But it's Ben Affleck and Jason Lee, our 2 best friends and co-workers. They work together on This Is the Origin of, you may recognize these names, Jordan, Bluntman and Chronic.
Bluntman and Chronic, I recognize those names.
They are the creators of the comic book Bluntman and Chronic. And it is quite popular, and they're doing comic book conventions or whatever. And they run into one of these conventions, a woman by the name of Alyssa, who is, sad to say, a lesbian. They make that very clear. She's gay. She's gay for women.
Good for her. Good for her.
And her and Ben Affleck become friends, and they slowly fall in love. And Jason Lee doesn't like that because Jason Lee is jealous, and he says a bunch of homophobic shit because it's a Kevin Smith movie from the 90s, and that's just what they do. And they also, but he's not really a homophobe because they've got a mutual friend who's gay, who like. So the big thing, a lot of people are like, oh, this movie has aged poorly because they don't address they never address Alyssa as being bisexual, because spoiler alert, you find out midway through the movie that turns out she did date a bunch of guys and she's just been dating women lately, and she participated in a 2-dude threesome when she was in high school, which has earned her the nickname Finger Cuffs. And Ben Affleck is really sensitive about this because he is from Jersey and hasn't really done anything. And so at the climax of the movie, in order to resolve the conflict between him and the girl, and Jason Lee, who is upset that he has been with this girl, and also that he won't commit to doing a Bluntman and Chronic cartoon, which the guy who plays Dante in Clerks, and I can't remember who the other one is. I think it's Randall, but it's the 2 of the Clerks guys show up, and they're the guys who are offering to buy the cartoon. And yeah, so he won't do that. So in order to resolve these conflicts, Ben Affleck suggests that they have a 2-dude threesome with Jason Lee and the girl. He says this will bring them closer together intimately as both friends and lovers. And
Sure.
and he's like, yeah, you're the reason why you've been so jealous is because you're in love with me, Jason Lee. And then he kisses Jason Lee, and Jason Lee's like, maybe? And she's like, no, for all sorts of reasons. No. They don't wind up together. The partnership between him and Jason Lee break up. Jason Lee goes on to be successful as a comic book artist in his own right, and he makes Chasing Amy. And the big part of this is the weirdest part. It's all right romantic comedy, but the weirdest part is, and this happens a lot, Jay and Silent Bob show up, and they completely stick out like a sore thumb. They show up out of nowhere to collect the money from the comic, the residuals from the comic, and Silent Bob does the Chasing Amy monologue.
So there's me and Amy, and we're all inseparable, right? Just big time in love. And then 4 months down the road, the idiot gear kicks in. And I ask about the ex-boyfriend, which, as we all know, is a really dumb move, but you know how it is. You don't want to know, but you just have to know, right? Stupid guy bullshit. So anyway, she starts telling me about him. How they fell in love, and how they went out for a couple of years, and how they live together. Her mother likes me better, blah, 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 and I'm okay. But then she drops the bomb on me, and the bomb is this. It seems that a couple of times, while they were going out, he brought some people to bed with him. Menage a trois, I believe it's called. Now, this just blows my mind, right? I mean, I am not used to this sort of thing. I mean, I was raised Catholic, for God's sakes.
Saint shithead.
Do something. So I'm totally weirded out by this, right? And I just start blasting her. Like, I don't know how to deal with what I'm feeling, so I figured the best way is by calling her slut, right? And tell her she was used. I'm out for blood. I really want to hurt this girl. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem, right? And she's just all calmly trying to tell me, like, it was that time and it was that place, and she doesn't think she should apologize because she doesn't feel that she's done anything wrong. I'm like, oh, really? That's when I look her straight in the eye. I tell her it's over. I walk.
Fucking A.
No, idiot. It was a mistake. I wasn't disgusted with her. I was afraid. You know, that moment I felt small. Like I'd lacked experience. Like I'd never be on her level. Like I'd never be enough for her or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But what I did not get, she didn't care. She wasn't looking for that guy anymore. She was looking for me, for the Bob. But by the time I figured this all out, it's too late, man. She moved on. And all I had to show for it was some foolish pride, which then gave way to regret. She was a girl. I know that now. But I pushed her away. So I've spent every day since then chasing Amy.
Which is You're Chasing Amy, and he does this big long monologue. And it feels weird because they feel like characters from a completely different movie. Like, you're like, this is odd. Especially because, like, this eventually connects to Dogma. There's actually a comic book that's a prequel to Dogma that explains what happened to them after they leave this movie and wind up. Because this movie ends with, remember how they had the monkey? In Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they're walking around with the monkey.
Yeah.
This movie ends with, sorry, I think that's Mallrats. That ends with them having the monkey. And so this movie explains how there's a comic book, I should say, that explains how they wound up from this movie in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. No, Dogma. I mean, how they wound up in Dogma. Because randomly they're not in Jersey in Dogma. They're on a bus randomly. So the movie, there's a comic book that explains that. The most problematic bit in this, in my opinion, is there's a gay character who's got a really long, really vitriolic monologue about lesbians, and about how, like, they don't count as real gays and how they're fake. And like, yeah, and it's not. I'm not gonna make any aspersions on any of them, but I will say that I have heard from bisexual women on the internet who say that lesbians.
Personally?
Well, people that I've watched, videos I've watched, TikToks and whatnot. I've seen them say that like lesbians can be really mean to bisexual women. Like bisexual erasure is a thing. Like they can be really cruel, and a lot of what he said matched that. And I read about the actor who was playing this character, and like he is gay, so like maybe this was coming from a place of truth. I don't know, but it felt slightly not homophobic, but like bigoted. It felt
Not okay.
Yeah, it felt not okay. Also, every character in this movie smokes. It's bizarre. Like every character, there's just scenes where they're all just smoking. You're like, this is weird. Chasing Amy. Was there anything else about Chasing? This used to be my least favorite Kevin Smith movie. I used to say it was his worst movie. This is the movie that everyone says is like. He said this is the movie he'd point to when we'd be like, oh yeah, I make good movies, or I make real movies. Like this is the one, like it won a bunch of Spirit Awards. Like this is the one that's critically acclaimed. I used to say it was his worst movie. I don't think that anymore. But I'm like, I just
So you're saying opinions change.
People
can grow.
People can grow.
Things can be different.
I did enjoy this more this first time. But yeah, the last time I watched this, it was after I think I'd watched Dogma, and it was on a real Kevin Smith kick. And yeah, I have changed my opinion on it. It is not the most problematic bit in one of these movies. We're going to talk about what is probably the most problematic bit in one of these movies. That's Chasing Amy.
I understand.
You know you have no shot at getting her into bed.
I take it that's not good.
Miramax Films presents a comedy that tells it like it feels.
Well, she's been around and seen things we've only read about in books.
So what'd you do last night?
Got lucky.
Chasing Amy.
All right, so my final rapid fire. My final rapid fire is
Rapid fire?
Rapid fire. This is Kevin Smith's second movie. Now this is the sophomore slump as it was described at the time. This is the movie he chose to follow Clerks with, and his big thing was it needs to be bigger. So he's like, what is bigger than a convenience store? A mall.
I've never met a person who lives in as much fear of his mother as you do.
You know what I should tell my mother what we do in here at night?
What, that you play video games and I fall asleep unfulfilled?
Oh, she calls you callow in here. You say that like it's bad. Well, it means frightened and weak-willed. That was the only part of the letter I thought was complimentary.
This is Brody's private hell.
Where the hell did that come from? What's going on here?
And these
Brody man, noochie noochies.
are his friends.
Ow.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. What's a stink palm?
Take your hand, you stick it like this. There, now you shake hands with the guy. You know how long it takes for that smell to come off?
And so this movie stars Jason Lee. Once again, Jason Lee is in it. And some other guy whose name I don't know. His name is TL, I think is what the character's name is. And he is in love with this one girl, and he wants to go on vacation and with her to Florida, where he intends to propose to her. And I think they're about to graduate from high school. And she says she can't because she has to. Her dad who his Rooker. He's Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. Michael Rooker. He's the dad, and he's a producer of a television show, and he is making this dating show, and he wants her to be on it, and she has agreed, and so they break up, and through a series of misunderstandings, it winds up on the news where it seems like he's in a shootout with some people, and so they break up, and he's upset. And Jason Lee breaks up with his girlfriend, and she's upset. And Jason Lee is really into comic books and whatnot, and going to the mall. And so they wind up at the mall, and it's basically their trying to, it's their shenanigans, misadventures, what have you, at the mall. At one point, there's a security guard who is giving them the business, who they're in conflict with. Jay and Silent Bob are there, and Jay's kind of a different character than he was in the Clerks 1. He's kind of a different character. He's more silly. He's got catchphrases. This is where Snooch did the booch comes from, stuff like that.
Snoochy Boochie.
Yeah, that's where all this comes from. But they're drug dealers. They're general disruptors. So they're friends with Jason Lee and with the not the main guy, but they're friends with Jason Lee.
With the titular Mallrats,
yeah,
if you will.
The Mallrats, as you will. And I should mention, Jason Lee is in conflict with Ben Affleck, who is the manager of a certain high-end fashion store, and he is currently dating Jason Lee's ex-girlfriend, and he has vowed that he is going to do her in an uncomfortable place. And the joke is, where? The back of a Volkswagen? And it's a joke that clearly Kevin Smith is very proud of, because he says it, multiple characters say it multiple times.
You know that guy?
Yeah, I went out with him after we dated. He tried to screw me some more very uncomfortable ones.
What, like the back of a Volkswagen?
Sounds like his MO.
And it hits a moment where it stops being funny and then starts being funny again. It's one of those jokes. But yeah, they hire Jay and Silent Bob to destroy the stage, and there's this really funny running bit where Silent Bob is trying to psychically move the cigarette with his mind, and it culminates in him like he's trying to do something on the stage and he accidentally moves it. Oh, there's another really funny character. It's the actor Ethan Suplee, but you would know Frankie from Boy Meets World. He's there as this guy who he's trying. It's one of these images where if you stare at it, sorry.
Party of Broadway World says, well, that just makes me feel icky, lol.
Oh, that's not even the most icky part of this movie. We're going to get to the icky stuff. But Ethan Suplee, he plays a character. Yeah, he's Frankie from Boy Meets World. He's looking at it's one of those pictures where, like, if you stare at it long enough, you see a sailboat. And everyone...
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is seeing the sailboat, but he can't see the sailboat. And so the entire movie is him just staring at this painting. There's this running subplot of him trying to see the sailboat, and people walking up and instantly being able to see the sailboat.
What's he doing? Oh, well, if you stare at this poster for a few seconds, a hidden picture appears.
Can we do it, please? Please?
All right, go ahead. But hurry, the Easter Bunny's waiting.
Wow, it's a schooner.
You dumb bastard. It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
A schooner is a sailboat, stupid head.
You know what? There is no Easter Bunny! Over there, that's just a guy in a suit!
At one point, they go to see a fortune teller who has like 3 nipples. All sorts of shenanigans. I'm trying to think, was there anything else that, before I get to the big thing? It's all right. It's not as good as Clerks. Some of the jokes involving Jay and Silent Bob, you kind of understand why they became, like Jay is interesting because like Jay is often presented as being a moron. Like I would say, you saw Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back recently. Would you say he's characterized as being like a moron who is unsympathetic to anybody and he only really cares about himself?
Yeah. Stoner idiot is
selfish,
the term I would use.
Only really cares about having sex. Yeah, he's not really like that. Like he's friends with Jason Lee. Like at a point at the end, they help him do something, and he's like, no, it's on me, man. Don't worry about it. Like he's generally a helpful and kind of reasonably intelligent person. It's interesting.
I mean, my thing with that character is, and maybe this is just speaking to my personal life, is I feel like we've all known someone like him.
Yeah,
we've gone to high school with someone like him.
That's why Kevin Smith always says he's such a funny character, is because, yeah. And the fun fact about this was, initially, I can't remember, I wish I could remember who they wanted him to play. And he had to audition to play Jay. Like, the studio made him audition, yeah. And Kevin was like, but he is Jay. I wrote the character, it's him. And they insisted he audition.
That's funny.
So yes, the icky bit of this movie, Kaylee.
No, Jordan, you have to audition to be the incomparable Jordan. But you wrote the character for me. No, Jordan, I'm telling you.
Oh,
you
Kevin wasn't the one who insisted he auditioned. It was the studio that, because the big thing with this
I know, but in this world, in my joke, you were the one who were making me audition.
Oh, I would absolutely make you audition. Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, I know. That's the joke.
Where was I going with that though? Yeah, so the big thing with this is he has the studio behind him now. And a big thing with Kevin Smith is back in the day he was like, I'll do whatever the studio says, just let me make my movie, and that makes his movies worse. The big icky thing is one of Jason Lee's friends is a girl who has graduated high school and is doing a study on
Sorry, Haley, we have to do the icky. It's part of the show.
It's part of the show. She's doing a study on human sexuality. And the big thing is, she is 15!
Trisha Jones. They call her Trish the Dish.
Nobody calls me that.
Our little Trisha here is only 15, but somehow she's a senior. How'd you manage that?
Don't listen to him. I studied my ass off.
Yeah, right. So what do you say? You want to nail TS or what?
Jesus, Brody.
Calm down. Trisha's compiling data for this book she's writing about the sex drive of men ages 15 to 30.
Nope.
Remember correctly, it's
Nope.
called Borg
Nope.
Study of the
Nope.
mind of
Nope.
sexual
Just says nope. Nope.
Ready to
Nope.
get sick? Tell them about the advance you got.
Pendant Publishing gave me $20,000 based on a treatment in a sample chapter.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Too young.
Ooh, it's too young, and there's so many jokes.
Too young.
There's so many disgusting sex jokes that are levied in her direction. And this movie came out in the 90s, and there's certain times, like in Chasing Amy, where I can be like, it was the 90s. It was the 90s. It was a different time. These jokes have aged badly. But so the big climax of this thing is, in order to win the girl back from Ben Affleck, they find, because she's been recording all of the people she's had sex with on camera with their consent, which is impossible,
and knowledge,
which is impossible unless they didn't know she was 15. But even then, no. And so it turns out that she has recorded Ben Affleck doing her in an uncomfortable place, and they play it on the screen for everyone to see, and he gets taken away for statutory rape. For statutory rape will be adults. For statutory rape, he gets taken away for that, but nobody gets arrested for child porn. I won't say that because that will get me in trouble. That's the weird part. That's the gross part. That's the icky part. She doesn't need to be 15, other than like for him to get for the joke to be about statutory rape. That's such a weird joke. That's not even really all that funny, and the payoff isn't even all that funny.
It's not a joke.
It's not a movie that's devoid of laughter. Like, I did laugh. I still think it's funny. Me and Kevin Smith do have a very similar sense of humor, but it's definitely not his best movie. I'm torn on what his best movie is. It's not the worst. That's still Red State. Red State's just to get that out of the way right now. Red State's the worst movie. It's the worst one. That's the legit bad movie. This I could see what he was doing. I understand. There was a lot of pressure. Clerks was massive, right? So I understand. This is him coming up from the indie. This was him stepping up to the plate. That's Mallrats. Hey there, everybody. It's NCard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Have these 8 movies aged badly? Has one aged worse than the other? Did the bit about the 15-year-old make you uncomfortable? Good! Good! That's the correct response. You should be uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable moment. I'm sorry. It was weird. Anyway, if you would like to see the full podcast that this video is from, you click the box on the left, and that's going to take you to our Pick a Director 3, where I talked about Kevin Smith and Jordan talked about Ron Howard. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We have new videos coming out 7 days a week, and a podcast 11 a.m. on Sundays. Or you could just leave us a like. That helps as well. But we'll see you all in the next video, everybody. Have a good day.